Hello everyone, welcome back. It's been a big week and I've had to move everything around, which I'll explain to you why that's had to happen in a sec. But I just wanted to thank everyone for your response to the HZ video last week. It was far bigger than I thought it was going to be be honest. It was just something I did off the cuff, but it's been a really good week of reading everyone's messages and comments and everyone sharing their thoughts on these cars, and even to a point where Australia is today, because Ford and Holden played a massive part in shaping Australia to what it is today. So it's been a really interesting week, and I just wanted to cover off one major point that I've been getting messages about. Now, a lot of people have asked how we unveiled the car to Jeff. Now, obviously there was a bit of an emotional story behind it, which was all explained in last week's video. But people wanted to know, did he see it for the first time as a complete car? How did it all play out? So I've gone back digging through old phones and bits and pieces, and I found these photos. Now, what we did is we painted the car just in green, which Jeff saw all happen. It wasn't clear coated, no trims. The original hubcaps were kept in the boot the whole time, which I didn't say last week, so they are original to the car. But we got the car to that point, got it on the road, got it roadworthy, obviously, and that's how it looked, as you can see in this photo. Now, what we then did is we worked our backsides off for a couple of weeks, and we got the final coat of paint on the car. We got it cut, polished, did the whole lot, and got the trims on it and finished it off exactly how Jeff had it. We then got the car and we returned to Jeff's house where the photos were taken 30 years earlier, popped the Kingswood in the driveway in the same spot that a lot of the photos were taken, and he walked out and there it was sitting there exactly how he remembered it. Now, knowing now what's happened, and sadly Jeff's no longer with us, but this photo here taken out the front of his house really shows how much it meant to him. And looking at the sky and the clouds and everything like that, it's a really beautiful photo, and it's one that will certainly remain special to me for the rest of my days. I've also received a lot of messages about the hole on the inside of the door trim, which is easily explained. That's for a remote mirror, which many of you were across anyway. And when I put the car back together, the original mirror was badly rusted, so I just had to put a standard side mirror on it. I do have here a genuine Holden one that I picked up many years ago. It was picked up at a swap meet. And you can see there it's in really good nick, so it'll go back on the car. All the remote adjuster and everything's all there. It's just a matter of me getting off my backside and fitting it. And I will admit, after driving this car there a couple of weeks ago, I'm really enthused to polish it up, service it up, and drive it a bit more as they should be. Now, you can see here the RTS badge radial tune suspension. Now, many of you discussed that, and I had no idea that it was such a big thing on the HZs. Now you can see here, it's got the 4.2 badge on the back. It's got the Kingswood badge around the lock, which we didn't put back on because Jeff wasn't an overly big fan of that. But it did have the radial tune suspension badge on the back, which you can see in this photo when we picked the car up. I didn't put it back on, and to be honest, I forgot about it. So that'll go back on the car. I have got it, it's all wrapped up and safe and secure. Now, what the interesting part is I did a video, a couple of months ago now, on the GT and the race cars, and it was to do with Ford using the race car drivers at the time as human witches' hats. I didn't realise that that was in response to Holden's ad about the radial tune suspension, which you'll see here. This is Holden's ad where they were saying, obviously their suspension was far superior, driving around witches' hats, which shows the Ford basically rolling over in on itself and every other car on the market.
You are about to see a compelling demonstration of a genuine automotive engineering breakthrough. This is new Holden Kingswood SL, equipped like no previous Kingswood, with radial tune suspension. Watch it through this snaking S. Smooth, safe, with a minimum of lean. Average speed, 75.96 kilometers per hour. Now watch some competitive cars. Same test, same driver. Chrysler CL Valiant. Toyota Cressida. Now XC Falcon 500. .240K Datsun. TE Cortina 6. Watch new Kingswood SL again. Holden's stabilizer bars and suspension components are matched to the steel-belted radial tires. The radial tuned suspension badge means safety and confident road holding. Only Holden has it. Now with push-button radio, electric demister, quartz halogen headlights. New Kingswood SL with radial tuned suspension. Drive a real change for a change. At your Holden dealers now.
So then Ford responded with this and iconically saying, the point we're making is it doesn't matter how it looks when driving around witches' hats, it's how it performs when your life's at stake. Try doing this in 2026 and getting away with it.
Between them, these 6 professional racing drivers have won just about everything worth winning in Australian motorsport. They came to the Ford high-speed test track today to prove a point. This is a production model 78 Falcon 500. The Falcon is now traveling at over 90 kilometers per hour. Once again. And the point we're making is that no matter how a car looks when it's driven around witches' hats, it's how a car performs when your life's at stake that really counts. We never felt better about Falcon. And Falcon never felt better.
I love the way at the end of that video, the Ford guys boot that witch's hat away, purely to say, you can have your witch's hats, we'll put human life in their place and show you how good our product is. And I guess that's what made the industry so good back in this era. There were no rules, it was just all in to prove that our product is better than the next guy's. And that's what made the Ford and Holden rivalry so good. In reality, both made fantastic products, and the people that bought them had a passion that'll never be repeated. I have noticed in a lot of these videos that I've been making, a lot of people like myself used to be Ford or Holden, and there was no room for anything else. However, everything's slowly starting to transition into not celebrating Ford, not celebrating Holden, but celebrating the Australian automotive and manufacturing industry as a whole. I know myself, I was one-eyed Ford and there was no room for anything else. However, now I strongly feel that no matter what the badge on the front of it, if it was made here and represented a great era, it's well and truly worth celebrating. The passions for the road cars spilled over onto the racetrack. And I like what supercars are today with the Mustang, the Camaro and the Supra, but I absolutely love what it used to be. You look at BA1 here and it started its life as a road car shell, and there's every chance it would have done hundreds of thousands of kilometres transporting Australian families around. However, it was picked off the assembly line and turned into be one of the most iconic cars in Australian motorsport. You have a look at how much of the car is still genuine Ford. You've got a steel BA XR8 bonnet. You've got steel BA front fenders. Admittedly, they are rolled out, but they do start life as a standard BA part. Genuine headlights, all the doors on the car, even the winders, the electric winders in the car are all BA, standard road car. And then you work your way back, you've got the boot, you've got the rear quarter panels, the roof. So much of this car was taken straight off the assembly line at Ford, designed and manufactured by the Australian people. The cars today are very different. They're all composite. Even things like the headlights aren't a genuine OEM part. They're all manufactured to suit a very specific set of rules, and it has really changed over time. The teams in this era used to be able to drive to the factory, pick up parts direct from the factory off the assembly line and modify them to race. Yes, they were modified, they were lightened off, but they did start their life as a Ford product, ready to go out to the Australian public. So I'm getting some work done on the back wall of the shed, so that's why I've had to pull all the cars down. So while they're all on the ground, I've taken advantage of that and I'm going to ship the GT off for a little while. Now, I know people have been wanting some content on that. I know Paul's especially excited to see some info on it, so don't stress, we will document it. What we're going to do is get the transmission looked at. Now, did have some question marks on it when I bought the car, and it's decided it's going to dump all its oil out of it while it's been sitting there in storage. So we're going to ship it off and get that looked at, and also get a little bit of a report done on the car, just so we know what we've got ahead of us mechanically, and we can then start to put the wheels in motion. Now, if you've been following the story on the GT, you'll know that there's some pretty obvious things that we need to deal with, and the poor old thing's seen better days. But like anything, Ford or Holden, it does deserve a restoration and get it back to how it used to be in the early 90s. So one thing, actually, as I put the camera in there, I'll ask you on the run, was a smoker's car, and I've had it up in storage with a cover over it, windows up, and it stinks in there, like it's rank. So if anybody has any suggestions on how we can best deal with that, let us know. Obviously the interior and everything's going to come out of the car. Hood liner and all that is in good condition at the moment. But seats and carpets and that obviously will come out. So if anybody's got any suggestions on how we can deal with that moving forward, I'm all ears, because I'm not too familiar with that side of things on how we can fix that. So we'll get the GT loaded and out of here, and we'll share that with you. We're pushing on with the super cheap Falcon. We've got tow points and bits and pieces going in that car at the minute to meet the CAMS or Motorsport Australia regulations. So that's all underway. We're documenting that as we go to share with you, and then we'll start the final setup on this car. So we'll push on here. We'll keep the information coming. And I just want to say thank you again to everyone for your support on the HZ video and Jeff's story. As I said, it was an emotional one, and one that I'm very glad did happen. So thanks again, everyone. We'll have more for you as soon as we can.